Hello everyone, welcome. Let's jump down onto the mat and we're going to come into our cross-legged position to start with our forward fold. So set up in a comfortable position for you, flex those toes towards the knee, and then we're just going to crawl the hands forward, dropping the chin to the chest if you like. Remember, this doesn't have to be a big stretch to start, we're just kind of easing into things here. And we're taking nice deep breaths to open up into the lower back. I'm using this as a bit of a pre-workout today, so we'll see the effects that has. I'm sure all of my lifts will increase by 100%, but I'll report back. Keep breathing. We'll do 2 more big breaths in this position and then we'll swap sides. Slowly walk the hands back to release. Try not to use the hands as we swap. Flex those toes again and we'll crawl the hands forward. See if you can just come a little bit deeper in this one. If not, it's fine, but you should have eased into the lower back with that first round. One more breath here. And slowly walk the hands back. Good. Make your way onto your knees. Tuck those toes so we get a nice stretch in the feet and the toes here. You can always wiggle from side to side to kind of release the pressure on one side and then the other. And then we're going to interlace our fingers and just do our clockwise, counterclockwise circles around the wrists to get them nice and warmed up. The knees can stay fairly wide here. And then if it gets too much, you can always come onto the tops of the toes. This is also a very nice stretch for the front of our shins, the tibialis, and a bit into the quads as well. And let's bring the hands down to the mat or floor. Push the ground away. Hands are underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And let's just sink our belly down to the floor as we send the butt back, coming into our cow pose. Starting to feel that extension through the spine now. Nice deep breath. Tuck the tailbone as we send the head back through the gap we've created with our arms into our cat pose. Really push the ground away. Good. Come back through cow pose. Spending a little bit of time in each position here. And let's go back up to our cat pose. Final time in cow pose, send the chest forward. And tuck the tailbone as we come back up. Last time. Bring yourself into a neutral spine position. Push the ground away. Tuck the tailbone again ever so slightly. And then we're just up on the toes as we lift the knees 1/2 inch off the ground. Engage the core. And we'll just hover here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Send the butt back into our down dog. Let's sink the chest through the gap we've created with our arms. Think about extending through the spine again, just like we did in our cow pose. So those hips can go right back and up. You should feel a nice stretch in the lats if you have that flexibility in the shoulders, but wherever you are, keep pushing the ground away. Take 2 more nice deep breaths here. And on that breath out, you're going to bend at the knees and then slowly walk the feet forward towards your hands. Bring the hands to halfway up the shin, sending the butt back just a little bit to come into our hip hinge. And then we'll fold all the way down, keeping the legs straight. One more time like that, halfway, sending the butt back and fold. Now roll yourself up through the spine as you squeeze the feet together. Squeeze the glutes as you come to a stand. Big stretch through with the arms. And then we'll swan dive back down, placing the hands down, bending at the knees, stepping one leg back. Let's go right leg back, left leg forward into our low lunge. Bring yourself up. We're going to drive that right hip forward as we send the left femur bone, the left thigh bone, back into its hip socket. And then stretch up towards the ceiling. And imagine you're scrunching the floor together between your left heel and your right knee. You should feel that right hip really switch on. Slowly bring the hands down. You can inch the left foot forward. And then we're going to send the butt back to come into our hamstring stretch. Big breath in as we extend through the spine, and then on your breath out, you're going to fold over that left knee. We'll do a few rounds here. Breathe in and fold. Breathe in and fold. Last one. Breathe in and fold. Come back forward into your low lunge. Place the hands down, framing the left foot. Pop up off the right knee, and then we're going to lift that left foot as you push the ground away, squeezing the right glute and sending that left leg back into our three-legged dog. Really straighten the left leg out here by using the glute. Contract that left glute now as much as possible. And then we're going to bend at the left knee, stack the hips, so left on top of right, as we try and push the ground away equally through the arms, so we don't sink into that right shoulder. Keep pushing. Big breath in. Open those hips up. And then on your breath out, we're going to come through our plank position into our lizard lunge, placing that left foot down next to our left pinky. And then we'll just create some movement here. Going clockwise, anti-clockwise, squeezing that right glute the whole time. You can shift side to side. You can even create a little bit of a twisting motion by coming onto the outside of the left foot here. And then swapping to the opposite, coming to the inside of the right foot. Just finding as many ways as you can to open up through the hips, as long as it feels comfortable to you. Let's all meet in our stationary position here in our lizard lunge. Squeeze that right glute, drive the right hip down towards the floor. And then we're going to really come up on our right toes a little bit, drop the knee. Make sure the right hand is parallel to the left foot, and then reach back with the left arm as we bend that right leg to catch our right foot. The outside of the right foot we're catching. Keep pushing the ground away, open the chest up towards the left wall. And then you're going to squeeze your right glute. Actively kick your left hand away with the right foot. You should feel that quad really switch on. And then breathe. 3 deep breaths here. Now pull the right foot in towards the right glute. Right glute stays squeezed. You're driving the right hip down towards the floor and release slowly. Place both hands back down to the mat. Pop up into your lizard lunge and then squeeze that right glute as you try and keep the hips exactly where they are in space. Slowly picking the left foot up to come into our plank position. And then lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Spread the legs as wide as your mat, or at least wider than hips width. And then the hands can be placed either side of your head as we gently push ourselves up into this cobra pose. Remember, squeezing the glutes the whole time. Drop the chest back down and up. We'll do 3 more. Back down and up. Down and up. Last one, bring it down and up. Slowly bring yourself down to the floor. Use your hands as a pillow as you shake your hips side to side. And then place the hands back down as we push ourselves back into child's pose. Keep the toes untucked here. Sit back onto the heels as much as you can. Knees can be wider than shoulder width. And drive the hands down into the floor. Now come back through your tabletop position. So we lift the hips up towards the ceiling, send the butt back, and come back into our downward dog. Remember, we're wrapping the arms round, so armpits facing each other, pushing the ground away. And you should feel like you can sink the chest a little bit closer towards the floor, a little bit closer towards your toes. If this time you can get the heels closer to the mat, that's fantastic. But if not, it doesn't matter. Bend at the knees, walk the feet through towards the hands as we come up into our neutral spine, halfway hinge pose, and then lower down to the floor, keeping the legs straight. Then roll through the spine, squeeze the feet together, squeeze the glutes, arms all the way up to the ceiling, and then swan dive back down. Place the hands down, bend at the knees, step the left leg back to come into our low lunge on the other side. Right thigh bone into the hip socket, left hip flexors driving forward, scrunch the floor together, and then the arms can raise towards the ceiling. Try and think about tucking that tailbone here and actually depressing the rib cage down so we don't create too much of a flare and too much extension through the spine here. We really just want to focus on stretching that left hip flexor. Final breath. Bring the hands back down to the mat as you inch that right foot forward and then straighten out the right leg. Breathe in to extend through the spine and then breathe out to fold over the right knee. Three more breaths here. Nice deep breaths. Use the breath to move deeper into the stretch. Bend through the right knee again as we walk it forward, framing the right foot with our hands. Push the ground away, squeeze the left glute, and then pick up the right foot as we step into our three-legged dog, extending the right leg and squeezing the right glute. See if you can drop that left heel down towards the floor a bit more. And then bend at the right knee, stack the hips, push the ground away equally through the arms. Keep opening up through the hips. And then take a deep breath in. And on the breath out, step through our plank pose into lizard lunge. A little bit of movement here, whatever feels good to you. You could even, if you want, just stay still in one position if it feels like that's really opening up the hips for you. Just remember to keep squeezing that left glute. Just helps you focus on opening up the hips rather than sinking into the lower back too much. And let's come to our static position. Keep pushing the ground away, keep squeezing the left glute. Breathe here. Hopefully feel like those hips can sink a little bit deeper towards the floor. If you're really comfortable with this, you can start to come down to the elbows. I'm going to stay in this top position. And then come up on your left toes, drop the left knee down. Left hand parallel to the right foot as we reach back with our right arm. Kick the left foot up and catch it. You've always got your variation here for the quad stretch. If you want to come down to the floor or use a band or a towel. Wherever you are, you're going to squeeze that left glute, driving the left hip down towards the floor. If that right foot wants to open up like so, that's absolutely fine. And then we're kicking the left foot away, as we squeeze and contract the left quad. 3 deep breaths. Now relax the left quad as you pull the foot in towards the left glute a little bit more. Keep squeezing the left glute. Don't feel like you have to pull on it too much, just a little bit more to get a stretch through the quad. And then we can release slowly. We bring our right hand back down to the mat. Come back into our lizard lunge, squeeze the left glute, push the ground away, keep the hips where they are in space as much as possible as you pick up that right foot and place it down in your plank position before slowly lowering down to the mat. Spread the legs wide, we'll bring the hands back to frame the head and then come back up into our cobra pose. And let's just hold here at the top. If here feels comfortable, you can start to extend the arms out. We'll hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, keep squeezing the glutes, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower yourself down to the mat. Shake the hips out side to side. And then push yourself back into child's pose, driving the hands down into the mat. Slowly come up into tabletop, and we're just going to turn around onto our backs. Finish off with 2 poses here. First one is going to be our glute bridge, so bring the heels up towards the butt as much as possible. Contract the glutes and then drive the hips up to the ceiling. Want to be extending through the hip flexors at the front here, so imagine you're trying to tuck your butt down to touch your heels. We create a nice straight line from our knees to our chin. Keep squeezing the glutes. We'll hold here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower down to the floor. Bring the soles of the feet together. Allow the knees to fall outside your hips. Bring your right hand to your heart, left hand to your stomach. and just spend as long as you like here. Close your eyes, allow the knees to get closer and closer to the floor, and just breathe. And that's it. Thanks again for joining, guys. See you in the next one.